Hello, this is Miss Moore, and today during chemistry we're going to discuss unit conversions, specifically metric conversions. Today's essential question: how do you convert between metric units? And don't forget, you need to answer the essential question as part of your summary at the end of the notes. Before we start today's lecture, make sure you have your unit conversion table handy. You'll find that on the back of your orbital diagram handout. All right. Let's start with a few terms. We'll start with quantity and unit. A quantity is something that has magnitude and size. Examples of a quantity are volume, mass, length, or distance. Quantity is how much you have. When we're talking about quantity, we're talking about the number you get when you measure something. The number is the quantity. Okay. A unit, on the other hand, is a standard used to measure a quantity. For example, you could measure the quantity mass with the units pounds, or the unit grams, or the unit ounces. You could measure distance, the quantity distance, with the units inches, or the units feet, with the units miles, centimeters, meters, kilometers. Okay, so again, quantity is something that has magnitude and size. It's going to be the number you get. The unit is how did you get that number? Okay, what did you use? Did you use inches or feet or centimeters, meters, whatever? And now, metric conversions. To do metric conversions, you can use the metric conversion portion of your unit conversion table. So on the back of your orbital diagram handout, you will find a whole bunch of numbers. The top part is titled Metric Conversions, and that is going to be your metric conversion table. If you don't have that out, hit pause, go grab it so we can move forward. All right, let's talk about how to use the metric conversion table before we actually get to conversions. All right, so metric units come in two parts. The first part is a prefix, and the second part is a base. And we will start our discussion with the base. So the base is the unit you're using without a prefix. Examples in chemistry are gram, liter, meter, second, but truthfully, a base can be any unit without a prefix. So we could have pascals, we could have hours, we could have tons. Okay, it's any unit without a prefix. On the metric conversion table, you will find the base in the middle area here, about right there. And you would use that square if you have a unit with no prefix. So for example, if I measured something in meters, which is symbolized by an M, or I measured something in grams, which is symbolized with a G. One thing I'd like to point out to you, which is kind of important, you'll know something is a base if the symbol only has one letter. Okay, if it has a single letter, you're going to be using the base. Okay, prefixes. The prefixes are also on the metric conversion table, and they are the top two rows here. So this area here and there. And I'm going to unhighlight that because it's sort of hard to read, but that is the prefix area. Okay, so some prefixes here. We have tera, which is symbolized by a capital T. Over here we have milli, which is symbolized by a small m. We have nano, which is symbolized by a small n. Those are the prefixes, and they would be written before the base word or symbol. Okay, let's try writing a few metric units just to be sure we kind of got this. So let's say I had this prefix and that base. How would I write that? Well, the prefix would be giga. So we'd have giga, and the base would be liters. Gigaliter. Okay? To write that as a symbol, it would be giga liter. Okay, let's try another one. Let's try this guy and this guy. How would you write that? We would have micro, and for this prefix, and, whoops, seconds. For the base, if we were to abbreviate this, it would be micro, which is a mu. It's sort of like a cursive-looking U thing. Micro seconds. Okay, so that is how you use the metric conversion table, or at least how it's set up, I guess, and that's how you write metric units. All right, so now let's do this, the steps for metric conversions. First step is to find the prefix for your known on the data table. So first thing, let's actually identify our prefixes and bases as a quick review. So prefix I will underline in red, and the base I will underline in pink. So centimeters. Centi is the prefix, meters is the base. For kilometers, the K is the prefix, and the M is the base. Please note that the meter, the base, the meter, stayed the same both times. It is only the prefix that is changing. When you're converting between metric units, you're converting prefixes, not bases. Okay, so now let's do the first step. We want to find the prefix for the known, which I'll underline in orange, on the data table. So the prefix that we know about is centi. Then we know about it because there's a number there. So let's look for centi on the data table, which is right there. And now the next step is to find the prefix for the unknown on the data table. The unknown is the thing we're trying to find, and in this case it's kili. So on the data table it's towards the left, and there it is right there. Okay, the next step is to count the number of spaces your finger would need to move to get from the known prefix, which we highlighted in orange, to the unknown prefix, which we boxed in, I guess, in blue. Okay, so basically we find, again, our known, and how many jumps do I need to make with my finger to get to the unknown? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We needed to move 5 spaces, and the direction we went is to the left. The last step is to actually move the decimal the same number of spaces and the same direction your finger moved. So let me rewrite our number. We have 6.25, and we are moving our decimal 5 places to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our decimal is now there. So we're going to have decimal 0.0000625. So we rewrite that. You always put a 0 as a placeholder in front of a decimal. So we have a 0, 4 zeros, a 625, and we've just converted units. So we no longer are in centimeters. We are now in kilometers. And that is our final answer. Hopefully you don't think that's too bad. It's actually fairly easy. All right. It is now time to check your understanding of metric conversions. So we have a few practice problems to work through. If you think you're comfortable doing this, why don't you hit pause, try to do the first problem, hit play, see how you did, and then go on to number 2 and 3. If you don't feel good about this yet, maybe watch me, go through with me, practice problem number 1, and then try to do practice problem 2 and 3 on your own. Okay, so hit pause now and try to do these problems. All right, so for the first one, we're going to go from km to funky U-looking thing, m. So our known prefix is the k, which I will find here, which is kilo. Our unknown prefix is this this funky-looking U thing, which is actually a mu, or micro. All right, so we need to count how many times our finger moves from the known, the orange one, to the unknown. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I need to move the decimal 9 places to the right. So 3.48, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's zeros in all of those with a decimal at the end. And we've just converted from kilometers to micrometers. So 3, 4, 5 with 7 zeros after it with the unit micrometers. Not too bad. All right, let's try number 2. All right, so again, we need to find our prefixes. So our known prefix, or the one we're starting with, is a P, which is, see if we can find that. Well, there it is there. It's pico. And then we're converting to L, or liters. There is no prefix there. So what do? Anyone remember? We go to base. Remember, if there's no prefix, we use the base. All right, so we're moving from pico to base, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 moves to the left. So our number is 497.6 picoliters, and we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 zeros. So we'll have 0 point. And we are now liters. All right, one more. All right, last one. We're going from 18 CS, something seconds, to DS, capital D, that's important, S, something seconds. So we're starting with C, which is right here, centi. And we want to get to capital D, which is right here, deca. So again, starting with the orange, the centi, we have to move 1, 2, 3 times to get to, which direction, right? To the left. So we have 18, and if there's no decimal written, remember the invisible decimal is to the right of the number, and we move 1, 2, 3 times. So our final answer is 0.018, no longer centiseconds, we're now deciseconds. All right, you guys, that's it for today. Have a good one.